Hello, friends, enemies. Love your enemies, said Jesus. Kind mothers. Hmm. Okay, so what he really said and did. Hmm. Looks so appropriate. By Stephen Mitchell. He's the author of the Gospel according to Jesus, and this is maybe a lighter version of it, and maybe adapted for younger adults, maybe teenagers. So maybe the the sentences were made shorter and to the point, or maybe easier conversational tone, less less trying to impress the scholars. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if that's true. Oh, and I have another book. Uh, uh, Singer Trilogy, Calvin Miller, the mythic retelling of the story of the New Testament. Wow, so he totally re reimagines the New Testament in a Lord of the Rings way. I don't know. You can see it. It kind of looks like something medieval. I don't know. So it says hundreds of thousands have thrilled to this extraordinary retelling of a life unmatched in human history. I guess that would be Jesus' life. Through the story of the singer, his star song, and his battles with the world hater. So the author, Calvin Miller, who is one of the best loved contemporary Christian writers in North America, he's written over 20 books. It just sold more than 2 million copies. So he's created a book full of life. Now in one volume, you'll find a powerful tale of incarnation and redemption. Huh. And it's kind of written in instead of regular prose, it's kind of in a verse, a poetic fashion. But I don't think it's trying to make it sing songy. Maybe it can be sung. I don't think he's trying to make it rhyme. I don't know. Let's see. So it's written. Okay, so it's a trilogy. The first part is the singer. The second part is the song. The third part is the finale. Why is why is it so? So it's a mythic retelling of the story of the New Testament. Why is it so? Uh, it's quite a lot of pages. One is got pretty drawings. Hmm. They're like pen and ink, maybe black and white. Well, actually, this is not exactly black and white. It's kind of satin and white or tanned and white. Hmm. 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 Let's see how it starts. Let's see if it captures our attention. Hmm. The singer, part one. How many parts are there? There could be 12, 15 parts. I don't know. I can see 11, 16. But where's part 2? Where's part 2 stuff? The song. So there's the singer, the song, and part 1, the singer goes to 24 parts or chapters. So here's the first part. It goes like this. Let's see if I can show it to you. Let's see. Okay, here. Let's flip it over to that side. Okay. Yeah, here's the book. The Singer Trilogy, part 1, The Singer, and chapter 1. What page is this? Doesn't have a page, but it's pretty close to the first few pages. It doesn't even have an introduction. So it starts off like this. Oh, that's easy. But then it goes to that. Oh, that's hard. I'm, I'm afraid of reading it too much. Let's see. For most who live, hell is never knowing who they are. Wow, that's pretty deep. That suggests Socrates or whoever the Greek was, that has an inscription at Delphi. It says, or somewhere like that, know thyself. So he who doesn't know themselves is going to be going through hell, because for most who live, hell is never knowing who they are. The singer knew, and knowing was his torment. Oh, the singer knew what? Was it that he knew who he was, or that he knew that he didn't know who he was? Because knowing was his torment. So he's going through hell anyway. That's weird. Let's see. It's interesting right there. And then this goes, when he awoke, the song was there. Its melody beckoned and begged him to sing it. It hung upon the wind and settled in the meadows where he walked. He knew its lovely words and could have sung it all, but feared to sing a song whose harmony was far too perfect for human ear to understand. And still at midnight, it stirred him to awareness. And with its haunting melody, it drew him with a curious mystery to stand before an open window. In rhapsody, it played among the stars. It rippled through Andromeda and deepened Vega's hue. It swirled in heavy strains from galaxy to galaxy and gave him back his very fingerprint. Sing the song, the heavens seemed to cry. We never could have been without the melody that you alone can sing. So, the Singer Trilogy by Calvin Miller. Let's see. It's a trilogy composed of the singer, the song, and the finale. Could it be related to God the Father, the singer? The song would be the Son, and the finale, the Holy Spirit? Cover and interior illustrations by Joe de Velasco. Uh, uh, InterVarsity Press. Uh, uh, over 483 pages. The first part having what, 24 or so chapters. The second part, the song. Here's how the song goes. In the middle of the faithless sky, there hangs a small dark world that once was green and blue. Some say it killed itself by stabbing all its lovely lands with deep atomic wounds. Some say it took an overdose of hate. Hmm. And then it goes, when words are rare as gems, then sentences are mined at great expense. In such a time, the tiny planet Terra swung its mindless orbit in constant hunger for a word that would not come. Silence stalked the universe, an earthmaker, in capital E, earthmaker, would not speak. There was little that his love could say to a vicious world so fond of tearing holes in his beloved. Whew. Uh-oh. Let me see. There we go. Oh. Let me flip, 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 flip. Flip, flip. Mm. Mm. Oh, give that a minute. What's that? Here we go. Okay. So now I guess that's a teaser. A is that what a teaser is? What is it when they when they show little portions of a movie? A preview? Okay, so that was the preview of that book. So we'll try to get into that one. But let's go back to this one. See, I'll flip over. Flip, 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 flip. There we go. Jesus, what he really said and did. Hmm. This this is let's see what it says in the back. Hmm. Okay, there we go. The book you're about to read is a portrait of one of the most beautiful like, how do you pronounce man? M-E-N. So that you know that it's man, M-E-N, and not M-A-N. The most beautiful men, one of the most beautiful men who ever lived. I guess I could read it into Google something and see if it types out M-E-N or M-A-N. Well, anyway, he himself would probably not have considered himself beautiful or even special. Oh, okay, imagine that. Not considering himself beautiful or special. Would probably not, or would he? Well, let's see. Well, there's some evidence that he's very I don't know if he's saying that he's beautiful, Maybe he's authoritative. I don't need this anymore. Do I? No, yeah. Because well, oh no, I hope you can hear me. Hmm. Yeah, I think you can hear me. It's a little problem I have with my phone's case. I put maybe I should take it off. Maybe it'll sound better. Let's see. It's a special case that I can use for going underwater with my phone, so I can record video underwater. It covers the phone really well. You can't even take it cover off. Hardly. Mm. Oh man, work down here. Starting. Okay. Yeah, that's the back cover. Now I'm taking the front cover. It's like really tight. It keeps water out completely. Supposedly, I haven't tried it. I haven't tried to go like to the jacuzzi or the swimming pool or try it like that anyway. Let's see. So, oh, maybe I could put this on top of this. Yeah, that's a good thing for my back. Oh, shoot. Hmm. Okay, let me see. I don't mess up the computer. Okay. Oh, there you go. Oh, no. There we go. Okay. So, where's uh, maybe I should turn that light off. Okay, there we go. How's that? Uh, there we go. There we go. You see, go down to the fourth line. He would have said that we are all beautiful. Do you think he would have said that? Yeah, I think so. We are all special because, and he did say this, we are all children of God. Really? Did he say that? Let's investigate that some other time. So when you're able to look inside yourself deeply, you'll find that the teacher who taught Jesus will teach you. Hmm. So if I look in myself deeply, will I find the teacher who taught Jesus? Well, wait a minute. Uh, 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 I got 5%, maybe 4 left. It went dark. There we go. It flipped also. Oh no, it didn't. Okay, so this page or this book is 145 pages long. That's good. It's not too long. So maybe we could get it read in a few days. Let's see. So that's the title of the book. Jesus, what he really said and did. That's the author, Stephen Mitchell. The font is almost as big as Jesus. Uh, oh, let's see. Who published it? Harp Harper Tempest, an imprint of Harper Collins. Let's see. Let's see what's that imprint mean? Okay, let's see what year this was written in. 2002. Mm, mm. Typography by Hillary Zarisky. Sariki. You can go to harpertempest.com. Summary. Oh, good. If we read the summary, then we'll know what it's about and we won't have to read it. In an insightful look at the life and teachings of Jesus for teens, respected author and translator Stephen Mitchell examines commonly held beliefs to arrive on some essential truths. Okay, we'll arrive at some essential truths. It's got an introduction and it talks about Jesus and then an afterword and then notes. All right. Here's the introduction. So many people from traditional Christian backgrounds may find this book shocking and offensive. So if you are in a traditional Christian background, do not listen any further. Go away. Thank you. Okay. That's like when you go to a porn website, it says if you're over 18 or under, go away. Something like that. Okay, so now that we got that cleared, why is that? Why is it saying that? Why is a traditional Christian background cause having one when one reads this book? Why would a traditional Christian background, after having read this book or while reading this book, would cause one to have to become offensive, to be offended, to be shocked? And he says that is understandable. Why is that understandable? I don't understand. Okay, the traditional portrait of Jesus as the Son of God who died to redeem humankind from eternal damnation, that holds their whole world together. Okay. So yeah, if you don't believe that, then you're not considered Christian. So if there's something that does not agree with that, then there could be a problem. They could be shocked and offended. Okay, perhaps. Let's see. Let's see if you are still reading and you're from the Christian that have a traditional Christian background. Let's see if you will get offended and why would you get offended, and maybe you can tell me in comments near this video. I'm on YouTube, so you should be able to sign into your Google account and state why you are offended. When you get offended, so far you're not offended, so that's good. So you can keep listening. The author says, "I have no quarrel with anyone's religious beliefs. If beliefs about Jesus can help make people kinder human beings, I am in favor of them. My advice." Next page. My advice is people who think they may be offended by this book is to close it immediately, or better yet, don't open it in the first place. Okay, but wait a minute. But How can you know if you're going to be offended until you read uh, all the way through and consider it, and then maybe then you might get offended. Let's see. But it sounds like it's going to be offensive no matter what. So this is pretty offensive. So go away. Now, other people from Christian backgrounds will find the book shocking, but not at all offensive. Okay, there may be some Christians who are not so traditional, not so orthodox, maybe, or so still find it shocking, but not offensive. So there's a difference between being shocked and being offended. Let's see. So maybe shocked might mean your mama is a something not so not so nice. That would be offensive. So I hope they're not insulting any of the Orthodox Christians in that way. Let's see. But you may still be shocked, no matter what or what. Okay, there is a good kind of shock. Oh, really? Which feels like a palm full of cold water on your face. Oh, when you wake up in the morning. Okay, so after the gospel according to Jesus, written for adults, was published in 1991, many Christians and many Jews as well wrote to tell me how exciting and invigorating my portrait of Jesus seemed. Many of them said that it changed their lives. Wow, I was happy for them, happy that they had taken the book in so deeply. I felt we had shared a love for the presence that shines through Jesus's words. Many people also wrote to ask me how I, a Jew, oh wow, had come to write about Jesus. Oh, the author is a Jew. That means he's supposed to not believe in the Jesus that Christians proclaim, Son of God and maybe even God of the Trinity, and that he died for our sins and rose from the dead and all that. So, and then if you believe that, then you're saved. That kind of thing, maybe. So a Jew would not believe that because the Jesus that appeared and was written about is not the Messiah. To the Jew, he's not the the Messiah they were waiting for, and maybe they're still waiting for that. So he continues. The author Stephen Mitchell continues. I sometimes had to explain that I was not one of the Jews for Jesus. Those are the Jews who have converted to fundamentalist Christianity. I love Jesus, but I don't believe what most churches say about him. And I don't respect some things that are taught in his name. I love Jesus, but I love the Buddha just as much, and Lao Tzu, and the wisest men and women from all the great spiritual traditions. Well, I guess this author Stephen Mitchell is famous, or before this and the other book uh, were put out, he was famous for translating a book attributed to Lao Tzu, the Tao Te Ching and the Tao Te Ching, and I don't know if he wrote anything about the Buddha, but he wrote the a book about the or the translation of the book by supposedly Lao Tzu, the Tao Te Ching, and so, but I don't know if just by reading the book Tao Te Ching you would know who Lao Tzu was. So how could you love someone just by reading a book that was attributed to him? You would not know the person, would you? Or maybe then you would love that whoever wrote that book, maybe it was Lao Tzu, you would love that person. But what if you were to discover uh, who that person was by time traveling or something, and going to live near that person and maybe work for him? Then maybe you would not love him so much or something like that. Anyway, so he loves Jesus and he loves the Buddha and loves Lao Tzu and all the wise men and women from all the great spiritual traditions. So here are a few stories that might help you understand why I wrote that book and now this one. Okay, so back in September 1952, when I was 9, my parents sent me to a new school. I had been happy at my public school, but my parents wanted to give me a better education. The new school was a private school for boys. Okay. I was a middle class kid with a mind full of ordinary 9-year-old things. The New York Giants. Not a popular choice in Brooklyn, but my father was a Giants fan. Books, comic books, TV, drawing, carving. Oh, sleds and ice skates in the winter. Animals of all kinds. Music. But at my new school, something out of the ordinary happened that changed my life. Not outwardly, my parents never knew that there was a hmm, change. Something happened inside me. So every Tuesday morning, all of the students from the 5th grade up through the 12th attended a Protestant service in the school chapel. Oh my. A Jewish kid in the 5th grade all the way through the 12th attending a Protestant service? Oh, the students had to go to that? So we didn't have a choice. Attendance was compulsory. I had never been inside a church or a chapel before. My parents were Reformed Jews. We went to the synagogue a few times a year, but the rituals meant nothing to me. And the incomprehensible Hebrew of the prayers and songs sometimes stirred up in my younger brother and me a, as we secretly glanced at each other, a surge of giggles that we could barely hold in. Now, this chapel, Protestant chapel service was different. I liked the hymns. I liked
the silences. I didn't understand the gospel stories and parables, which were read in a dignified, stuffy voice by our headmaster. His name was J. Folwell Skull Jr., a man for whom I had an instinctive respect and whose name seemed to me as a kind of weird poem that contained all the mysteries of upper class WASP America. But the readings touched me. They made me wonder about this Jesus. They also made me feel guilty. I knew I was Jewish, whatever that was, and I suspected that my response to these stories was some kind of disloyalty to my family. So I made a deal. A deal with the devil? No, a deal with God, or at least with myself. The deal went like this. Okay, it was all right for me to be attracted to Jesus as long as I didn't recite the words of the Lord's Prayer along with the other boys. So if I kept silent, I wasn't really betraying my family. Cool. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna not recite out loud the Lord's Prayer. So the deal worked for 5 or 6 weeks. Then one Tuesday morning after chapel, it must have been towards the middle of October, my fifth grade teacher, Mrs. Cummings, took me aside. Mrs. Cummings was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. I was in love with her, or I had a crush. She said she had been watching me in chapel during the recitation of the Lord's Prayer. Oh my God, he got caught. Well, it's good. It's kind of nice to get caught by a beautiful woman. Oh, let's see, where is he? She had noticed that I had kept my mouth closed, and she wondered why. I told her that I didn't feel it was right for me to recite the prayer because I was Jewish. And oh, she said, but the words of Jesus are for all people. Oh, okay. At that moment, something opened in my heart. I, hmm, I felt that I had been given permission, but somehow I loved and trusted. Oh, by someone I loved and trusted. Who? The woman? The beautiful woman? To listen to Jesus. Oh, you loved her because you had a crush on her and you trusted her. Okay. So you were given permission to listen to Jesus. So I wasn't being disloyal to my family at all. And it was perfectly all right for me to be Jewish as I listened. Still, there was a lot in the gospel passages I heard on those Tuesday mornings that confused me or left me cold. I didn't know if I believed the miracle stories, the walking on water, the loaves, and the fishes. When I thought about them, my reaction was, is this possible? Maybe, but so what? Oh, of course, it would be cool to learn how to walk on water, but it would also be cool to learn how to water ski. Anyway, the miracle stories weren't what attracted me to Jesus. What I loved was his kindness and the beauty of his words. Okay, it, I was more bothered by other things. For example, Jesus talked about forgiveness and love your enemies, but many of his speeches seem to be the words of a very angry man condemning his enemies in what? In in violent terms. Oh, really? Yeah, I think there have been. Then there was the question of heaven and hell. If, as Jesus said, God loves everyone, even the wicked, how could God send anyone to a horrible punishment that would never, ever end? And what was all this stuff about Jesus being the only begotten Son of God? What did that mean? Did it mean that God had sex with Jesus' mother? I guess so. He must have. If otherwise, how could he have been born with as a being a virgin mother, meaning that she didn't have sex with Joseph? And why did it matter whether I believed anything about Jesus? How could God reward or punish me for what I believed? In short, some of the gospel teachings seemed very beautiful, even when I didn't understand them. Others seemed kind of awful. It was all very confusing. But as I grew up, Jesus wasn't a big deal for me. Certainly nowhere near as big deal as baseball was. I rarely thought of him, and I never read the Gospels until I went to college. When I did read them, they were almost as confusing to me as they'd been when I was 9. And I had the same feelings towards Jesus of both attraction and repulsion. It wasn't until much later that I realized why. Hmm. Why was it so? Okay, so the story of my search for spiritual understanding is too long to tell here, so I will have it to fast forward. I wanted to understand why people suffer so much. I wanted to learn how to be happy, truly happy, not just more or less happy. I wanted to find God, not just believe in God, but to actually experience God. I looked everywhere. I read everything I could. I went to famous professors and rabbis. I went to California. I went to Jerusalem for a year. Nobody knew. People talked a lot, said I should do this or that. But I could tell by their eyes that they didn't really know what I needed to know so badly. Finally, in 1973, after 7 years of searching, I decided to go to India. Other people had met wise teachers there. Maybe I would too. But as I was getting ready to leave, a friend suggested that I go to Providence, Rhode Island. There was a Korean monk there, he said, who had arrived in America 6 months before with no English and just $100 in his pocket. The monk had been earning his living repairing washing machines in a laundromat. He says he's a Zen master, my friend told me. If I don't know if he is, but he has very strange eyes, my friend said. So I went to Providence. The Zen master's name was Seung Sun. He was living in a funky apartment in the poorest section of town. When I say funky, I mean very funky. There was a big handwritten sign on the door that read, "What am I?" So I walked in and found him sitting at the kitchen table. He was a rotund, very cheerful man in his late 40s with a shaved head, wearing baggy gray pants, a white t shirt, a sailor's cap. I looked into his ancient, glittering eyes, and immediately I knew that he knew. He knew. I felt that I could walk straight into those eyes and keep walking for miles and miles. And at the end of the path, I would meet myself. Whoa. Okay. So he met a Korean Zen master by the name of Seung San. Wait a minute. I have to look. I have to take a break and look him up. Oh, wait a minute. Go back to Zoom. So what I'm gonna do is share a web page. Guess what I'm gonna share? Well, maybe I could share Bing.com instead of Google.com. I should see how Bing does. They have AI on it. Okay, here's Bing. So I'm gonna type in his name, Seung San. I think that's his name. Biku Sur Coreano. Oh my, I'm showing it's translating it into Spanish because I have my phone on Spanish. Okay, here's a Wikipedia. Let's see, Seung San. Born Duk In Lee was a Korean Seon master. Seon, I think Seon is Zen. So when I go Korean Seon or Son Buddhism is the Korean name for Chan Buddhism, a branch of Mahayana Buddhism, commonly known in English as Zen Buddhism. So Seon is the Sino-Korean pronunciation of Chan. That was Chinese, which is an abbreviation of Chana, which is a Chinese transliteration of the Sanskrit word jhana. What does transliteration mean? That maybe they were trying to write what they heard in Chinese, so they could read it, and it would would represent the meaning would be meditation. So the word dhyana or jhana in Pali. So who knows how you pronounce jhana? Maybe it starts to sound like jhana, and then they shorten it to chan, and then in Japan it became Zen. Uh, I'm guessing, but it's supposed to mean the same everywhere. But in Theravada, dhyana is equated with concentration. Well, there's a little bit of difference between meditation and concentration. Maybe in meditation you would use concentration. Whoa! So let me stop sharing. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back. See if I can go back. Oh no, I can't go back. I'm trying to go back to the previous page. Oh, maybe I could go like this. No, let's look up. Let's look up. Oh, maybe I could go back to. Let's go back to. Oh, let's go to Google again. Oh, okay, Google. Oh no, I never went to Google. I went to Bing. And let's try Google and type in the guy's name. Let's see if I say Seong San. I think that's his name. Or is it? I don't know. It's spelled Seong with a U. It corrected me anyway. Let's see. Only don't know. Maybe those are the works of that Korean Zen master. Oh, Kwan Um. Let's see. I'm gonna type in a website, OrlandoZen.com. Maybe it's called. Let's see, Orlando Zen. Okay, Orlando Zen Center. So in Orlando, there's a Zen Center called uh, or well, it's the website is OrlandoZen.com, and it's affiliated with the Kwan School of Zen, and it follows the teachings of the Zen master Seung San, who lived from 1927 to 2004. So this center in Orlando has members, including these teachers. Oh, what happened? Oh, let's go back. Let's see. Newcomers. Oh, no, no, not donations. Oh, you can donate this way. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Donate newcomers. So you can, they have Sunday evening practice. Maybe I can go there today. Oh, 7 to 8 p.m. Da, 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 da. Oh, they have they have a Zoom practice. So you can go. Oh, whoa! The website or that page didn't work. Oh no! Oh, you can copy. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I can go. I'm gonna save that link to get uh to get online. Maybe uh Orlando Zen Sunday practice 7 p.m. Let's see if there we go. Okay. I'm back. Well, I'll be back. Let's see. So they have this Sunday. So they evening bell chant Heart Sutra in Great Dharani. Sitting 25 minutes of silent meditation and chanting the four great vows, Q&A and short Dharma talk. All right. So let's see if I can join them. Oh, they're going to start in about 2.5 hours or so. So, schedule. Oh, okay. I already saw that. Newcomers. Everyone is welcome to practice. You can join us Sunday evening. Oh, to attend in person, you can go. You can go to Joybird Books. Maybe I could go there tonight. Where's Joybird Books? Orlando Used Books. Oh, have I been there before? Oh, no, I haven't been there. Oh, can you see? Where am I? Am I still in Zoom? Let's see. Yeah, so you can see where they're located: Corrine Drive and Hammerlin Avenue. Is that? What? That won't work. So Orlando Used Bookseller. The Joybird Books. So calendar. Calendar of events. Hmm. Uh, I can't see it. Maybe I could go like this. Okay. Oh, look. What is that? 6:30 meditation. Is that what that is? Hmm. Yeah, it's at 6:30. Oh, okay. So it's at 3018 Corrine Drive. Let's see if I can see it on the map. Uh, so that's where it is. What is this? Oh, Big Daddy's. Okay, so it's across the street from Big Daddy's then, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so I could go to Joey Bird Books and then afterwards go to Big Daddy's for karaoke. Well, if they have karaoke. Uh, hmm. I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, so yes, I am familiar with I wouldn't say the teachings of this master, but I have touch base with a Orlando Zen Center, and they are steeped in the teachings of this master Seung San. So I think they chant the Heart Sutra in English, banging a percussion thing. Maybe it's like two pieces of hard. Oh no, maybe it's hitting a bowl or something. It's like clunk, clock, clink, clink, or yeah, it's like a nice sound. Uh, and they bang on it to a steady rhythm so that you would pronounce each syllable to the rhythm of the percussion instruments. I think it's made out of wood, hardwood, and so it doesn't last long. It just it's it's noticeable, and so you would say like mm, like when I read the bottom paragraph, it would go like this. I stayed with him and became his student. So it would go like that, and every syllable there would be a banging of the percussion instrument to keep everyone in line, so that everyone would end up finishing the Heart Sutra. It's not very long. It's a lot longer than the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer. Maybe it's like three Lord's Prayers long, I'm guessing. And it's the Heart Sutra where it says form is emptiness, and emptiness is none other than form, and also the other components of 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 uh, of ourself. Maybe you could say, but form in this case means body. So our body is empty of inherent existence, and inherent existence is also empty of our body, or something like that. Well, but I digress, and I will continue reading. So I stayed with him and became his student. So I never did get to India. What a bummer. But I maybe saved a lot of money and dangers by staying nearby and finding a master in the neighborhood. Well, where was he? Was this in New York? Providence. Oh, Rhode Island. Okay. So I began the very difficult spiritual training that Zen provides. I practiced Zen meditation for hours every day. 1 week out of every month, maybe you had a retreat every month, once a month, or maybe it's a special workshop. Let's see what it was. We would meditate together for 12 hours a day. What? 12-hour meditation? How many days? Maybe 2 or 3. So after a year of this, I had an experience in which my mind opened. All my questions about God disappeared. Wow. It wasn't so much that I found the answer as that I became the answer. Wow. Everything was dazzlingly clear. I felt happier than I could have ever have imagined. The Zen master was very happy for me. So I stayed with him for many years. Wow. Deepening my experience and letting more and more light into my mind and heart. And yet I still had a long way to go before earning his complete approval and earning my own complete approval and realizing that there was nothing I had to earn, but I was on my path. Okay, fast forward again. So more than a dozen years later, I kept having a strong feeling that I needed to write a book about Jesus. There was a magnetic pull. The book was the magnet, even though it didn't exist. Wow. Wow. Yet, it didn't exist yet. And I was the piece of iron. Wow. Wow. So I didn't know what kind of book it would be. I didn't know how long it would take. I just knew that I had to write it. Wow. I had a powerful sense that I could understand Jesus now. It had been more than a dozen years since my inner eye had opened, or since in Jesus' language, I had entered the kingdom of God. Wow. He entered the kingdom of God. That's blasphemy. How now there you go. That's against Christian traditions, to Christian Orthodox belief systems, doctrine, or dogma to say that you have entered the kingdom of God. Isn't that after you die, or can you be in the kingdom of God while alive? I felt that I was seeing the world the way he saw it, the way the Buddha, Lao Tzu, and all the great masters saw it. I was sure that all my confusion about him was a thing of the past. So I began to read the Gospels again. I studied all the scholarship that seemed to me intelligent and open minded. I polished up my Greek, the language in which the Gospels were written. I learned textual scholarship, and things began to become clear. The composition of the Gospels is a very complex subject, but in brief, here's what I discovered. Jesus never wrote anything of himself. The earliest account we have of him is the gospel according to, I'm going to guess, Mark. See if I'm right. Yes, Mark. Well, some may beg to differ. Some say it was Matthew, uh, which dates from around the year 70. Okay. That's 40 years after Jesus' death. Okay. So the Gospel of Matthew and Luke probably date from the decades between 80 and 90. So they were maybe 10 or 20 years later. And the Gospel of John probably from between 90 and 100. So I mean 30 to 40 years later. So none of these books were written by a direct disciple of Jesus. What? That's blasphemy. It was okay. Anyway, Jesus did have disciples they named Matthew and John, but they weren't the authors of the Gospels attributed to them. The Gospels were written in Greek, a language Jesus may or may not have known, but his language was Aramaic, which is a cousin of Hebrew. His original words in the original Aramaic may never have been written down, and if they were, they have been lost, except for one word, Abba, which means father. 40 years is a long time. Well, maybe that. Back then, maybe it wasn't. 50 years or 60 years is even longer. Okay, during these years, many stories were told about Jesus, and there were many reports of what he said. Some of the stories and reports were handed down orally from Jesus' own disciples who lived with him and knew him, even if they didn't always understand his, his teachings. And other stories and reports were made up much later by disciples of Jesus who never knew the actual Jesus. Some people faithfully repeated the words he taught, and others added very different teachings according to their own sense of what was true. So when the Gospels came to be written, their authors inherited a mixed collection of teachings and stories, only part of them originating in the life and teachings of Jesus himself. But could I sort one part of from the other? Could I tell the difference between Jesus' authentic words and the words that were put in his mouth later on? So I decided to follow the example of Thomas Jefferson. Okay, what Thomas Jefferson? Didn't he write the Declaration of Independence? And that's about it. No, Jefferson, yes, the author of the Declaration of Independence and the third president of the United States, was an extremely intelligent and deeply religious man, and he spent a good deal of time throughout his life thinking about Jesus. Here's what he said: there is internal evidence that part of the Gospels have proceeded from an extraordinary man, and that other parts come mm, from what? From very inferior minds. It is as easy to separate those parts as to pick out diamonds from dunghills. What? So, what are the dunghills that you want to eliminate? Okay, so the first sentence seemed to me absolutely true, but was it so easy to separate the two parts? Jefferson thought so. in the evening hours of uh, of one winter month in the early 1800s. During his first term as president, he began to compile a version of the Gospels that would include only what he considered the authentic accounts and sayings of Jesus. Then he snipped out of his King James Bible and pasted onto the pages of a blank book. He took up the project again in 1816 when he was 73, 8 years after the end of his second term. Okay, so the wee little book, which he entitled "The Life and Morals of Jesus of Nazareth," remained in his family for 100 years, and in 1904, that was 120 years ago or more. Yeah, his little book of about Jesus was published by order of the 57th Congress. A copy was given to each member of the House and Senate. This book, known as the Jefferson Bible, is still in print. So I finally understood why I had been so confused by the gospel when I was a boy. I had been attracted to Jesus' authentic words, but I had very much disliked many of the passages that were added later. Some of these passages are actually the direct opposites of his authentic teaching about God's love. Like the saying at the end of Mark's gospel, whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, but whoever doesn't believe will be damned. These sayings make Jesus sound ignorant and small hearted, and they make his God sound like a cruel tyrant. I think that Jesus would have been appalled to hear such words put in his mouth. Or maybe they would have sounded so absurd to him that he might have been amused. For example, Jesus teaches us not to judge in the sense of not to condemn, but to keep our hearts open to all people. But then the later Jesus is the final judge who will float down terribly on the clouds for the world's final rewards and condemnations. Jesus cautions against anger and teaches to love our enemies. The latter Jesus calls his enemies children of the devil and attacks them with the utmost savageness and contempt. But isn't, I'm thinking, uh, but isn't this kind of like cherry picking, choosing what we like that Jesus said and then getting rid of things that Jesus may have said, but one doesn't understand. Why would he have said that? Why would he have said that? I felt, I almost fell asleep and I would have dropped my phone from my hand because I'm holding it with my hand. So I think this would be a good time to end this discussion, this conversation, this reading, and this meditation on what Jesus really said and did. Is it even possible to determine what Jesus really said and did? Or can we just say what I would have liked to have Jesus attribute to these Jesus as him having said that and eliminate those things I do not like that Jesus said because it contradicts the other Jesus. So maybe Jesus was a psychopath. No, not necessarily a liar, but he had a bipolar disorder. No, not necessarily that. But in different occasions, he said something that that one would generally say, yes, that's cool. That would be wonderful if the world would do that. But then in other occasions, Jesus says, no, we got to fix these things. We got to remedy these things. And so to fix these things, maybe we have to use a little bit of threats or violence to get these things done, or or at least put fear in the young kids. Perhaps these things that Jesus said would have been things that people I fell asleep. Ah, so we'll continue this book, Jesus, what he really said and did, and 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 figure out what things that he supposedly said were considered more likely for him to have said. That gives a picture of Jesus as being benevolent, merciful, loving, compassionate, all those things. And so let's see, what was it that Stephen Mitchell, the author, decided that Jesus would not have said this. So let's not even mention them. If we can't eliminate them from the canonical gospels, then maybe let's minimize them and emphasize our bias towards a certain kind of Jesus to be always that way. Huh. So thank you, thank you very much. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good day, good evening, good everything. I'm gonna end this. Bye.